What's up, fellow comic book fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be your curator today. Guys, she is back. Another fantastic Vampirella issue. The biggest issue ever. Guys, popular demand has brought our Vampirella comic book segment back from our comic book section of our museum. We bring you Vampirella issue number 64. We journey into another story with our beautiful vampires of the strange and the macabre. 7 great vampy stories. I am a huge Vampirella fan, guys, as you know. We have a ton of Vampirella videos, horror comic magazine videos on our playlist. I've been a huge fan of these big, beautiful horror comic magazines ever since I was a kid, growing up in the 1970s. Like I said, my father used to bring these big comic book magazines home, and I prefer these. Actually, I prefer these type of books over the standard comics, the DCs, the Marvels. I love those, but for some reason, the artwork, everything about these beautiful horror comic magazines were just done splendidly. And the Vampirella series always stuck out. You had mystery, intrigue, horror, everything. As a kid growing up in the 1970s, I just, to this day, a hot cup of coffee, sitting on my lazy boy and just reading one of these horror magazines. You can escape into other worlds, and that's what Vampirella allows me to do. As you can see, this is from 1977, but this is a big book. It's $1.75, which was a lot back in 1977. And you know, we crack open our books here, guys, here at the museum, and when you open it up, you're immediately greeted with this big color insert here. Vampirella special. And this is great shots of Vampirella doing what Vampirella does. The artist is Gonzalo Mayo. Here's the insert. Gonzalo Mayo is a fantastic artist and did a great job with the Vampirella series. I love his artwork. I love the way he drew Vampirella. This was more art than comic art. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense, but to me, the artwork was so beautifully drawn, you know, so beautifully done. And here you had all these beautiful stories. Like I said, I just enjoy reading. So the artwork is just breathtaking. Guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. Hanging out here in the museum, and we're reading Vampirella, issue number 64. I could do this, you know, for hours, and this is what I did for hours as a kid. I don't do it as much now, older now, because I'm older, more responsibilities, and my time is pulled in so many different directions now. But when I do have some free time, I really enjoy reading my Vampirella comic books. Um, with my comic books, it's the same with any of my collectibles here at the museum. Everything is in pristine, beautiful condition. You're talking about this is a comic magazine from 1977. It's nearly 43 years old or something. So it's in fantastic condition. It has that old comic book smell though, which I love. Guys, what do you think of our Vampirella issue 64 horror comic magazine? Do you remember these Vampirella comic books? Do you have any? I'd like to get you all the panels. Like I said, these reading these guys were very easy. The print was big. Well drawn, beautifully done. Like I said, I absolutely love comic books. That's something that I could afford as a kid. You know, back when I was a kid, these comic books were only cost like about 25, 35 cents. And you know, now they're $3, $4, $5, $6. And I was talking to a fellow subscriber about that. You know, how really these big comic book companies are really pricing themselves out of the market because they're so expensive now. You know, I think I would buy more comic books if they were like, you know, 75 cents, $1.75. But with anything, you know, big business. But I stay towards the older comic books, the more vintage comic books. I don't really buy anything new. You saw our video of our on location visit to the comic book store for free comic book day. We had a lot of fun there. Some of these Vampirella, this one in particular is kind of risque. You know, and as a kid growing up, I didn't think too much about that. But looking back on that, you know, I'm glad my father gave this to me, but this was this was a pretty risque comic book for its time. Vampirella was very alluring, absolutely gorgeous. And Gonzalo Mayo drew her beautifully. It has so many different stories in here. So, yeah, 7 stories. 7 stories. And this is one, like I said, I'll put another pot of coffee on when I have some free time to myself. When the family is asleep, I can kick back and relax. And I do my best reading when it's nice and quiet in the house. When do you do your best reading? I know my best reading for my comic books comes when everybody's quiet, the house is quiet, no sounds. I'll have my coffee, relaxing. We wanted to do this. We haven't done a Vampirella issue. I was told since November of 2018. So this is actually our first Vampirella issue video and review in the new year. So we apologize for the long absence of Vampirella. She's got a huge following here at the M.I.B Master Toy Museum. Like I said, some of our super subscribers were asking about her. When were we gonna bring back more Vampirella issues? And that really makes us feel great. You know, it really makes us feel great to know that Vampirella has had that impact on other collectors and enthusiasts the way she's had an impact on me. So like I said, I started the very first Vampirella video review April of 2018, somewhere around there. And it was more of a test run. We wanted to see if our comic book sector and segment videos would how would they fare, because I'm an action figure collector, but I'm also a huge comic book fan. We just wanted to see how they would fare, and it fared very well. It fared very well. It exceeded my expectations, you know. So we kept adding more and more and more Vampirella video reviews to our channel. And this particular story here is called the Stalkers. Vampirella has to be one of the... She's a reluctant superhero. So it's just, she has to be one of the coolest female superheroes of all time. I can't say enough about this artwork. Gonzalo Mayo. Fantastic work. Guys, if you want to see more comic book videos, by all means, we want to know all of that in a comment section right underneath this video. We work for you guys. Without you guys, my channel wouldn't be where it is today. The M.I.B Master Toy Museum would not be where it is today. So we want to thank everybody for that. You know the routine, guys. God bless. and keep collecting.